Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel. It's Ijoma here, and in today's video we're going to learn how to make this gypsy gown with a deep neckline, a deep V neckline and straps. Now if you're making this particular gown and you want it to be very full, like if you want your gathers to be very full, you will need like 4 yards of fabric. But if you want it to be normal, three and a half will be okay. Now I am done marking my chest line. This line is my chest line. I'm ruling my chest line currently. It is 8 inches. My bust point is 10 inches. My half length is 16 and a half. My normal half length is 16 and a half, and I added extra 2 inches for the allowance. Now I'll go ahead and label these lines: chest line, bust points, half length, and allowance. Now if you're making any dress, your chest line should be 2 inches above your bust point. That method is easy. Now for the shoulder, my shoulder is 16 divided by 2, that is 8, and I'll connect the shoulder line straight down to the chest line. So right now I'll go ahead and connect it. And for the neck width is going to be 3 inches wide. Now after marking the 3 inches wide, I will connect my v-neck to the point where I want the v to stop at. It depends on how deep the v-neck is. Okay, now I want it to stop at 15 or 14 and a half. It depends on how deep you want your own neckline to be. Now I'll go ahead and connect from that 15 inches up to the 3 inches for the neck width. Then I'll add I'll add 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Now from the center of the paper, you mark your dart line. My nipple to nipple is 8 and divided by 2 is 4. So I marked 4 inches from the center of the paper. Then I'll find the midpoint of my armhole too. My armhole is 8, the midpoint is 4. So I connected this dart line, the center dart line, and I'll connect my princess dart to the armhole. This dress has a princess dart. Okay, then from that armhole you extend it by like 1 inch and connect it back to the chest line. So now at the half length, I will take out half inch. I'm using just half inch for my dart. I am not busty, so I'm using half inch on both sides for my darts. We have gotten our neckline, dart, shoulder slope, and armhole. Now I'll divide my bust by 4, and that is 36 plus extra 1 inch allowance. Then I will divide my waist by 4 plus 1 inch for these darts and another 1 inch for allowance, though I'll still add more allowance on my fabric if I'm cutting on my fabric. Now this is for the front, and I go ahead and indicate where the strands will be. I have 3 strands there. I have 3 pieces. They're like 3 lines, the lines that will be along the neckline. So if you want to make it more than 3, it is up to you. So one will be on the chest line, one will be on the bust point, the other one will be where that place that I marked a small line. So now I will cut out this paper and keep it aside, because the measurement will help me cut out the strands that will be around there. Okay, the pieces that will be around there. Now I'll go ahead and cut out the side, because this is a princess dart and we are going to cut it in pieces. I'll cut out the side piece, I'll cut out the center piece. Okay, now the front is set. Next thing is our back, and for our back, we know that front and back neckline are not, and half length are not equal. So I added a side dart. This side dart is 1 inch. From my bust point, I came down by 1 inch, and I'll connect it to my bust point, because I'll be closing these darts on paper. Okay, and I will shade this because I'll close it on paper when I'm cutting on my fabric. Now this is the paper for the back. And anytime you're making a dress, you know that our front half length and back are not normally equal. But I don't usually do that on my channel. But normally your front half length is supposed to be longer than your back half length. So my back half length is 15 and a half, while my front half length is 16 and a half. Now I marked my chest line, that is 8, and I also marked out 1.5 inch for zipper allowance. This 1.5 inch that I'm marking right now is the zipper allowance, and I will label my zipper allowance first of all before I start any other measurement. Now this is 8 inches for my chest line, this is my half length, and then the allowance line. I'll go ahead and label. This is chest line, this is half length, this particular one now is half length, and the last one is the allowance. For the neckline is still going to be 3 inches, that is the neck width. Then the neck depth will be 1.5, because it is the back neckline, it will not be deep. Okay, now I will also connect my armhole, okay, and add 1 inch for shoulder slope. This one is shoulder slope, and I'll go ahead and connect my armhole. Okay, so now this is my armhole, and I will add my dart from the center line. I came in by 4 inches, and for the armhole I found the midpoint of my armhole, that is 4 inches, and I marked my normal armhole is 8 inches, then the midpoint is 4. I will connect this to my chest line, a straight line to my chest line first of all, and I'll also mark out half an inch for the normal dart. Then I am going to connect the princess dart using the curvy part of my curve. I will connect the back princess dart, and I'll also extend that dart line by 1 and reconnect my armhole. Now the next thing is to take my bust measurement and divide it by 4, my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that. Now I am going to connect from my half length to my chest line. Okay, now that is all for the back. I'll go ahead and cut out this pattern. After cutting out the pattern, we'll cut on our fabric. This video is 15 minutes long. I like making my videos short. I don't like long and boring videos. Now after cutting this, I'll place them on my fabric and cut out. And this fabric that I'm using is light, so I will double the fronts. Like I will use my fabric as the main lining for the, as I will use my main fabric as the lining for the fronts, because my fabric is light, okay, and if I'm wearing this dress I may not wear bra, and that is why I had to add extra. Now this is the fabric that I'm using, and it is a cotton fabric and somehow transparent. Now I will cut out the gathers first, the gathers for the down parts, before I continue with the top. Now these gathers are there are 2 steps, like we have 2 tiers of gathers around there. Now my waist is 30. I will multiply my waist by 3. So to get your first tier, you will multiply your waist by 3. That is if you're using up to 4 yards, but if you're not using up to 4 yards, multiply your waist by 2. So 30 times 3 is 90 inches. And this fabric that I folded here, I folded it twice, like it is 4 pieces there, like 4 folds there, and I will measure it, and I have 90 inches. Now my half length is 16 and a half, right, and the full length of this dress I want it to be 36. I will take out 16 and a half. I'll take out 16 and a half from the top, and I want the first gathers to stop at 25 inches around my hip line, the first gather. Then the second gather will start from there, the second tier will start from there and down to the full length. Okay, so the first tier will be 10, the second tier will be 10. But that second tier, if you look at it very well, you realize that the gathers is on top of the first one. On top, the gathers is on top, so the second gather will be somehow longer than the first one. Okay, it will not be 10. I'll add like extra 2 for the sake of the gathers that I will make on this first one that I'm about to cut. So now I have multiplied my waist times 3, and I have 90 inches here. So I have 90 inches right now, and I'll go ahead and cut out this first gather. After cutting out the first gathers, I will cut the second gather. And the second gather, I said that the first one is 90, right? My waist times 3, 30 times 3 is 90. Then this second gather will be times 3 of what I have on the first one. So the first one is a total of 90. It is 90 inches. I will multiply 90 times 3 again, and I will be getting 270 inches. So the second gather that I will fold, I will make sure that I have a total of 270 inches. Okay, so I want mine to be really full. I like it when my gathers are full. Gathers is full anyhow. Now I'll go ahead and cut out. This one will be 10 inches plus extra 2 for the gather that you make on the first tier. Now I am folding my fabric. After folding, I will cut out 2 times. I'll have to cut it 2 times so that it will give me 270 inches long fabric. Okay. this is the sleeve area. I am done cutting out the second gather. This is for the sleeve. I'll fold my fabric twice and I'll mark out my sleeve. So the full length of my sleeve will be 20 inches because I'll still fold it and add elastic. So I'll fold twice and I will cut out. This is the first fold and this is the second fold. This fabric looks good on camera. I don't really like it in real life, but it looks good on camera and I think it's fine for this particular dress that I am about to make with it. Okay, now the full length I marked 19 inches, sorry, 19, and it is an exaggerated sleeve. I'll go ahead and mark and cut it out, and then I'll cut the armhole. It is an exaggerated sleeve, so I'll still hem it and then add my elastic. So right now I am done. The next thing that I will do is to start cutting out the pieces for the top. And remember I told you guys that I'll cut out the front first and you add lining. If you don't want to add lining, you can use facing, but I'll use lining for this because of the type of fabric that I'm. So this is the center front. If I'm cutting it out, I will add my allowance 1/2 inch around the dart line, and I will cut out the V neckline and then the shoulder. This is just one piece. Then I will go ahead and notch all the places that we add those strands, the connecting strands. Okay, so I am notching right now, and after notching this, the next thing that I'm going to do is to cut out the one that I'll use as the lining. Okay, so I'll fold my fabric again and I'll place it and cut out that. Then after cutting out that, the next thing that I will do is to cut out the rope, let's just call it rope, the pieces, the connecting lines at the center front. And remember, when I was drafting my paper, I kept that paper aside because that paper will help me know the length of each strand or each line at that neckline. Okay, so now this is the center front and I'm cutting out lining for them. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is to open them up. So this is the V neckline. I will go ahead and cut out the pieces that we use for the lines, the connecting lines at the neckline. So this paper that I'm using is for the connecting lines. This is the one I got from pattern paper. So I measured them. The first one is 1.5, second one is 1, the last one is half. So that first one is 1.5. If you open it up, that means it is 3 inches. The second one is 1. If you open it up, it is 2. The last one is half. If you open it up, it is 1. So the first one will be 3. The second one will be 2 inches. The last one will be 1 inch. Okay. So now I am cutting out. The first one is 3 inches plus 1 inch for the joining. That is 4. The second one is 2 inches plus 1 inch for joining. That is 3. The last one is 1 inch plus 1 inch for joining. That is 2. Okay, so now I'm done cutting them out. After I will fold it and fix them, and remember to notch all the areas that you fix them on. Now I'll also go ahead and cut out the side pieces of the front, and I will cut out a lining for them just like I did for the center piece of the front. Okay, now after cutting that, I will go ahead and cut the back pieces. For the back pieces, I will not add any lining to it. I will only use facing because I'm already running out of fabric. Now for the front piece, I will cut off this dart and close the dart on paper. So if you close the dart on paper, it will give you a finer fitting, and then I'll add my allowance before cutting. Okay, now this is for the front side piece, and I folded it twice, so I have the main fabric and the lining pieces there. The next one are the back pieces and facing. So this is where we are going to stop, guys. In our next video, I'll show you guys the sewing process, and I believe that the sewing process will be easy. The cutting is actually the hard part. Okay, so this one is the side piece of the back, and that is it. Now, after cutting all these pieces, I'll go ahead and join them. For the back, after cutting the back pieces, I'll cut out the facing for it. I'll turn the back with a facing, but the front has a lining. Okay, now I'll go ahead and add the little strands at the center front, the neckline. After adding that, I will turn it with the lining. So this is the back piece. I am done cutting and I added 1/2 inch allowance. So now I'll arrange them according to how I will join them. These are the center pieces, and I'll go ahead and join these side pieces to it. Then after joining the side pieces, I will turn the neckline with the facing. Right, then for the front, I'll repeat almost the same process. Now I'm cutting out the facing for the back. I want the back neckline to have a facing. I told you guys that this fabric is transparent, so That is it for the back. So this is the facing for the back. Right now, I am done making my gathers. Like you can see the gathers that I cut. I gathered the second layer on the first one. I did not hem it. I used weaving like I did it overlocking. You can see the overlocking up and down. Then I gathered the second layer on the first layer. And this is what I have. I'll keep that aside. This is what you will do for your gathers. After cutting your straight pieces, you go ahead and gather the second layer on the first one. Now after doing that, this is my sleeve. I am done turning my sleeve. I folded the down part and I added elastic to it, so our sleeve is set. The next thing I did was that I added the pieces, the lines, should I call it line or piece? You can see the 3 lines I added to the neckline. Then I turned with a lining. You can turn it with a facing if you want to. So this is the back. I'm also done turning the back and joining the side pieces. And you can see my facing. I also close my zipper allowance for the back. I'll place the 2 of them together and shape. After shaping, I'll go ahead and trim my half length. The sewing is not that difficult. The cutting is the main thing, I guess. Then you cut off your half length and also trim your armhole. After trimming the armhole, I will get the gathered part of this gown, like the down part of this gown, and I will gather it around the waistline and then fix my sleeve. After fixing my sleeve and adding my gathers, I will go ahead and fix my zipper. And that is it, guys, for this tutorial. If you have any question, you can ask your question in the comment section. So this is the sleeve. You gather the sleeve around the armhole and then get the gathered part of this dress. This is the gathered part of the dress. I will gather it around the waistline and that will give me my full dress. After that, I'll fix my zipper. Thank you all so much. Registration for our online classes is ongoing. If you want to register for any of our classes, please do well to drop a comment in the comment section and I'll direct you on how to register. So this is the final look of the dress. I hope it is beautiful. Thank you all and see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.